Welcome to Now Play This 2021. My name is Sebastian. I'm director of Now Play This Festival, and I will be leading you through this ceremony that will start in just a few moments. We're broadcasting live from the virtual festival courtyard, designed and illustrated by Tiz Creel. And if you're watching this on stream, you can jump in here and join us right now by pointing your browser to topia.io/nowplaythis. You can also find the link in the event description on the program page on Now Play This and also in the Twitch chat. You will need a Chrome browser to join, but you don't need an account or anything like that. And while we wait for more people to teleport in, I'm just going to walk around this impressively big hole we have here. Oh, I can even walk on it. Some people already spent 2.5 hours in a virtual passenger cabin in Hosni Auji's airplane mode. I hope everyone had a good flight that was on that flight. And while we wait for more people, maybe some tips for navigating here in the courtyard. So normally when you get close to each other, your avatars can talk to each other. There's these arrows around the edges so you can find other people. You can also turn your camera off if you don't want to be seen, but you won't see anyone else if you do that as well. And I'm currently on broadcast mode, so you will be able to hear and see me wherever you go. So feel free to wander off also. If you get bored standing around there, you'll see. Great, so let's get this ceremony started. We're going to head on down to the Somerset House area in this world, and I'll play some music while we walk down. So just follow me. Oh my God. Okay, I think I'm standing on the stage. Everyone else is also welcome to stand on this stage. That's great. Cool, yeah. So when we started working on Now Play This about a year ago on this edition, the pandemic was just starting, and we had to move the festival online at really short notice. But we were always expecting to be back out in the real world at Somerset House by today. And yet, well, here we are again. At least we're at Somerset House, kind of. And nonetheless, we have a jam-packed 4 days ahead of us. I can't wait for all the exciting things to come. And in a minute, we'll go on a walk through this wonderful virtual courtyard. And in each area, I'll talk a little bit about the themes of the festival and which as a whole explores the relationship of games play in the climate crisis this year. But I'd like to begin by thanking the wonderful team behind the festival. It's my first year directing an edition of Now Play This, and I couldn't have hoped for a more brilliantly multi-talented and Nick Murray, Joe Summers, and Sophie Sampson could join me on the stage. If you aren't already standing on the stage, that would be great. And also starting off with a huge thanks to the new Now Play This board. And I know that Sophie wants to add a few things to that. I will set you on broadcast, if that's okay for a second. Sophie, you're now on broadcast. Let's see, Sophie? Okay, we'll do that part later. But anyway, does it work? Hey, Sophie, I think you're on broadcast now.
Okay. I wanted to thank the transition team who really helped us go between directors incredibly smoothly and did a lot of work in the background, particularly Hilary O'Shaughnessy and Laura James. Thank you so much for all your help on this, and it's a testament to your work that here we are again with wonderful new director Sebastian. Over to you, Seb.
Cool, thanks, Sophie. Yeah, and Big support also to our generous supporters and partners this year. That's London Games Festival, who we've continued to work with, who are funding us, which is really amazing. To Somerset House, even though we're not physically there, we're still working really closely together. And also to a new partner, Goethe Institute in London, who've really helped us, especially continue the commissions program this year. Really means a lot. Also, big thanks to everyone who got this festival. Wait, you can't see it like this. I don't know if it shows in the camera. Maybe like this. Who got a festival pass, pay as much as you want. There's been quite a bit coming together there, so huge thanks for supporting the festival. It means a lot to us. So what's going to happen to do is build this festival as a journey that we take together, where each day shifts one aspect of the relationship between games, play, and climate crisis into focus. And one of the things I noticed when thinking about games and the climate crisis is that this relationship isn't one single simple thing. So games aren't the solution to the climate crisis, positioned as something that will help incredibly in this process. They're also not the main problem, but they also do harm. So it's really complicated. And let's see what you think about this. So let's play a game about that. And as you can see, a little bit south of the stage, I'll go a little bit to the bottom if I can. There's these big ground over here. And yeah, why don't you just position yourself in the area that you think fits the most? So question one is, are you optimistic about humanity's response to the climate crisis so far? I will also go somewhere. That's pretty clear. Oh, there's some maybes. Let's see if there's a yes. No one is on yes. Okay. Well, that's a pretty clear answer. How about this one? Do you think that games can have a meaningful positive impact in fighting climate change? That's pretty mixed. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so most people are in maybe. There's like a little cluster in yes, maybe some in no. And the last one, do you think that games and games culture are part of the problem around the climate crisis? Yeah, so it's pretty complicated. No one is super sure. Some people are super sure. Most people are maybes. Great. So, I mean, I hope that the festival will help maybe clarify some of these things, or if it's just complicated the way it is, then to leave things complicated, that's also okay. So how's this going to work? Each day of the festival, we have live events and things that you can play anytime. Some of the live events are streamed, so you can watch it like television. Some are only for the participants and will be run mainly through Zoom. If you're into meeting other people, which to me is the best thing about festivals, I really recommend joining the live play events. There's still a tiny number of spots available for registering. And you can always meet people here in the virtual festival courtyard. We'll also be using it during some of the events. Another thing we've done is set up a new community forum, kind of an old school web 1.0 forum with threads and comments and hopefully not too many flame wars and things like that, which I encourage you to try out. If, like me, you've kind of given up on social media and like the kind of more calm, slow exchanges that might be possible on the forum. So that's under the community link on the Now Play This page. Another great way to meet people is, of course, game jams. And we're running a really great game jam throughout the festival. And starting today, it's called the Alternative Ecologies Jam. It's hard to say, run by Emily Reed. Emily, are you around? Maybe we can both come up on stage over here. And I will also set you to broadcast mode. so you can tell people a bit about the festival. Great. Let's see. Hey, Emily. Let's see. Let's see if you can hear me. Just try and unmute yourself or say something to see if it works. Maybe it takes a while to set it to. Researcher based in Glasgow who's interested in alternate histories of gaming, DIY game making communities. The jam that Emily proposed for this is all about the relationship between ecology and the economy. So about the way that kind of money interacts with game making, about making critical text in certain games. And maybe Topia is just overloaded, and that's why we can't hear Emily right now, because I think she's standing right here, at least. So I think we'll just give this another try after the opening ceremony and see if there's less people around. Maybe it'll be easier to talk. Cool. So if any of you are interested in joining the jam and are looking for collaborators or just want to share ideas that you have, just stay here in the courtyard. Will be people get together maybe, and we'll help facilitate that. There's also more on the today. Also, Emily has published their 3 really inspiring mini communities from Kara Stone, James Morwood, and Milos Tani to get you inspired. So go to the jam page to have a look at that. I think it's really interesting. So we're just about ready to take a walk. Maybe we can try one more broadcast. I'd love to talk with Tiz for a second, who created this courtyard right now. Tiz, I'm going to set you to broadcast. Maybe that works.
Hello, hello.
Hey, very cool. Can you come up on stage?
Yeah, for sure. Hello,
okay, cool.
everyone.
Cool. So Tiz Creel is an artist from Mexico City, currently based in London, and her practice is really influenced by play, spontaneity, and games. And Tiz, we've been wanting to show some of your work at Now Play This for years now. Could you talk a little bit about how was it to make this virtual space? Like, was it fun to work on it? What did you do? How did you go about it?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the platform Topia, I think it's a gem to work with. It's in a very early stages of what it can become potentially in the future, but just with a little bit of imagination, you can create something really unique with not that much knowledge in terms of programming or all the savviness that you probably would need to build this from scratch. So I think the response of this platform towards the issues that we have that we cannot meet in person really gives you the sense of being around people in a physical space while not being in a physical space. When you first contacted me about how am I gonna do these plays and what am I gonna do for it's part of the festival, we agreed that we are gonna use the themes of the festival as the vessel to create this world. And immediately in my head, I just said it has to be some sort of theme park kind of design, where each day and each theme has its own little island, and it touches upon the critical discussions that are going to go and are going to happen throughout the whole festival.
Is there any special location in this world that we might look out for, like a hidden place that you want people to find or discover, or do you just love all of the areas the same?
I think I do love all the areas the same because they have their own charm and their own characteristics. But I think in each one of them, I try to add something that is unique. So you might go through it a couple of times and not see the full detail of everything the first time. So I try to generate a world that has some surprises, but yeah, you're gonna have to go and find them because each world has its own little charm.
Cool. Thanks so much, Tiz. And I think we're going to head up now for the walk into one of the first areas. So I'm going to put on some music and we'll just try and follow me up north into the what do you need to have fun area. Cool, yeah, so we're standing here in this beautiful sculpture garden inspired by the first question that we wanted to ask with the festival, what do you need to have fun? After this walk, we have two conversations coming up on stream right after this opening that answer this question from really different perspective. So the first one is Greener Games, which is at 6:30. It's a talk by Nick Walker and Deborah Menza-Bonsu from game studio Space Ape. We've done a really impressive work on analyzing the carbon footprint of their studio, including the players, the data centers in the cloud, giving a reality-based answer to this question, what do you need to have fun? And also advancing the conversation about the climate crisis and games in general. If you want, you can just stay on stream after that. And later on, we'll have a talk with game designer Danny Hawk about folk games on TikTok. So Danny has, over the pandemic, become really fascinated with the way TikTok users explore playstyles with super simple materials, almost using the pandemic as an opportunity to fall back into basic ways to have fun with each other and with just the stuff that you have around you. And speaking of stuff that you have around you, we're excited to launch today Repurpose, which is a new text-based mobile game by Amy Strike and Tom Williams, which takes you on a walk leading from your home into the outside world, where you just use your imagination to repurpose things that you find. And this game, to me, really shows that our ability to play is not dependent on an abundance of material resources or giant technical infrastructures, but can just happen in the friction between real people and real places. You can play it on your phone right now. If you go to repurpose.nowplaythis.net, there's also a QR code in the game description on the program page. And when you come back from going outside with Repurpose, you can hit the couch tonight and watch a short edit about 15 minutes long of a documentary called The Land from Aaron Davis, which shows children on an adventure playground as they do extremely fun and risky things with wood, rope, and fire. To me, what's really fascinating about this film is how much fun there is in playing with fire. Which is, I don't know, by coincidence, also the most basic way to emit carbon. So to me, that's a really interesting question. How is it so much fun to play with fire? Or how is the carbon emission in kind of direct play with fire in your hands different from the playing with fire on this giant industrial scale where you don't ever touch the fire that's producing the carbon? Finally, of course, you can fly into the night again and again with airplane mode, but we've gone over that a lot now, also flying to the festival. So let's walk over to the next area, inspired by tomorrow's theme, which is You Fix the Climate. And another song. Yeah, so here we are at the machine that fixes everything, in an area inspired by the project that will feature tomorrow at the festival. Climate-related games that ask players to years now, starting with Chris Crawford's Balance of the Planet from 1990 that you can play in a kind of DOS emulation today in your browser. Chris Crawford also is answering questions about the game in the community forum. So if you want to ask, how do you fix the climate in this game, which is really difficult to play actually from our perspective today, just head over to the forum, ask him directly. If we fast forward to 2021, one of the highlights in this area is a game called World Climate Simulation. This is a live play event on Zoom where you simulate a UN climate negotiation with different regional delegations, a plenary, a digital tool that instantly calculates the effects of the carbon reduction targets that you manage to agree on or not. There's still a few spots also available for this. It's filling up fast, but I highly recommend registering for that. It's a kind of really serious negotiation experiment, basically, where you feel how difficult it is to actually globally agree to these things. If that sounds a little bit too intense for you, you can sit back and join our streamed play and talk with Swedish game developer Eat, Create, Sleep as we try out their newest demo, which was released now just for Now Play This, of Among Ripple's Shallow Waters. It's a game about balancing water ecosystems that's currently in development. And tomorrow evening, there's a special event called Cards Against the Climate Crisis, which is featuring two games. Ecologic and Carbon City Zero. Both are games that ask you to fix the climate with cards, basically. And you can watch us play the games with a really great group of people. And you can also head over yourself to like an online board game platform called Tabletopia to play them yourself with your friends. And we'll also help you find groups of people. If you don't have like 3-4 people that you want to play this with, just meet up here in the courtyard and we'll facilitate groups to get together to play these games and also help you get started. So that was Friday. Let's head over to the Beyond Repair area. I'll put on some music. That's this one. So we've watched Bottle Forest, and on Saturday we'll be featuring games and projects that reject the notion that players can solve the climate crisis or that should be asked to do so as part of a game. In the morning, we'll do an online meetup for the Alternate Ecologies Jam here. So this is also a good moment to join the jam if you didn't have time maybe during the week. You can still join this jam also on Saturday morning. We'll help you find teams, or if you're working on stuff and need some teammates or looking for people with specific skills, it's a good idea to come and discuss some of the critical approaches that you might be working on in the jam. Then there's 2 sessions with 2 games each. One is a session we're calling Games About Bad Actors. This is featuring a game Villains and Heroes by Marlos de Valk and The Last Survey by Nicholas O'Brien, both of which are games that talk about encounters with powerful figures that are directly involved in driving the climate crisis and how you can kind of relate to those people. And the second session is about post-climate crisis worlds, worlds that are literally beyond repair. We'll be talking with Safe Space Studios. These are quite new developers from Italy who made a game, Venice 2089. It's a game that imagines a future Venice that is mostly flooded, and even in Arcadia by Phoebe Shalloway, where you can explore a hyper-capitalist future where corporations throw away entire planets like smartphone models. If you still have screen time in you and want to spend time continuing some of the conversations maybe that you've had at the festival, we'll also be hosting a festival party on Saturday here in the courtyard with some music. There's lots of nice and interesting people around, so this is probably just a really nice time to actually have conversations and have maybe some random encounters that you'd normally have at a festival. So if you want to do that, Saturday evening is your day. Let's walk over to the last area, area 4, about ways of relating. Yeah, so projects also that we're featuring on the last day of the festival, which is about ways of relating. And the idea is that if you think that classic games like Minecraft or Settlers of Catan, you see that a lot of these games really reproduce logic of resource extraction and exploitation. And on this day of the festival, we wanted to highlight work that explores other ways of relating to the natural world and to each other's, ways that work differently from just grabbing everything from the ground and maximizing profit at all costs. So a small experimental game that's right on the kind of tension point of how games relate to nature is Floating Point Leviathan. It's also about a whale, like the one I'm standing on right here. And in this game, hunting and herding the whale leads to the introduction of mathematical errors and kind of disintegration of the environment completely. So it's just a really, really simple, straightforward image of kind of connectedness. And when you pull on one side, kind of the world collapses around you. A more positive alternative maybe is Elisabeth Lapensée's iPad game, Honor Water, a game that teaches you how to relate to water through singing instead of through managing, fixing, saving, hoarding, things like that, and passes along traditional indigenous songs in Anishinaabe language. You can take your iPad outside, go to the nearest body of water for the best outdoor karaoke experience with that. And we also have an audio conversation with the creators that you can listen to while you walk to maybe the next river or lake. You can also do this at home, of course. In the final talk and play event of the festival, we have Screenprint's Garden of Earthly Delights, which is a kind of mashup between Hieronymus Bosch painting and a virtual world populated by animals from the game Age of Empires 2. So this is like a meditative multiplayer painting that you can wander around in while taking on the role of different animals. And if you're up for a really intense social experience on Sunday, there might still be 1 or 2 spots available, if I'm not wrong, in Summit for Intergalactic Knowledge, which is a digital LARP about communication between human and non-human actors, like alien slime mold from another planet. So you don't need it to be an experienced LARPer to join this. There will be a workshop at the beginning where you'll get gently guided into the experience. And while Sunday is the last day of the festival, it's also the start of a longer process of something new. And that's our commissions program this year that I just want to briefly mention at the end. So there's 2 projects that kick off at the festival that will be developed over the course of the year. One is in augmented reality work, weather warnings, which is a new collaboration between J.R. Carpenter and Tomo Kihara. And we have a stream with them where they talk about their plans and how you can get involved in their creative process also. And the second commission is from our friends at Design Studio Free Ice Cream, who are developing a playable data tool to map out the relationship graph in communities, and are exploring how tools like this can help people think and act collaboratively in the climate crisis. So they're starting their research process for this commission with a workshop on Sunday where people in the community around playful art and experimental games, so people who are maybe also interested in the program of Now Play This can explore how they are connected to each other and might find appropriate responses to the climate crisis that might come out of this community. So it's pretty realistic, actually, and the playing part, I think, will come later in that process. So there's still some spots in that workshop, so sign up for that if you haven't. Yeah, and that's pretty much the program. I hope you enjoyed this virtual tour through the courtyard and through the upcoming program. There's really a lot to explore. Take your time, take breaks in between, use the social spaces that are available to have maybe also some random encounters. I think that would be great. And Emily and I will be staying around right here for people who want to get into the jam. If you're more into just watching something on stream right now, next on stream is the talk Greener Games from Space Ape, which is the first talk of the festival. So you just stay on stream for that. Yeah, and that's it so far. So thanks, everyone. See you around the festival. And maybe one last music piece to end the ceremony. What should we do? This one.